Hello, everyone. I'm Angel, and today I want to go step by step over the quiz one from spring 2022, the Knighton version. So you guys can find this on Blackboard. But this is how your quiz will look like on Monday. You're just going to get this Word doc, and it's going to have this first page. You should read it, and here are the instructions for the actual coding portion of it. So what I like to do is I like to put my Word doc on the right side or on the left side, sorry, of my screen, and then my text pad or TextMate on the right side. So here another thing I like doing is here you see it says create a new class called sandwich bar, and let's say when we complete it, I like making sure or I like crossing it off by highlighting it. So that's another thing. So let's go ahead and get started. So I like saving it first, and then we're gonna save it as sandwich bar. And now we can go ahead and get started. Curly braces. And now here it says this class, there are 8 attributes and 9 methods, and it lists out the attributes. So attributes are going to be private, and it says here customer name, so what data type, a string, and let's name this variable customer name. So we've completed this, cross it out. Next, sandwich ordered, so that's going to be another string. So let's cross this one out. Next is the sandwich cost. So we're going to do a double here because the cost is going to be something like 8.99, 6.87. So we're going to be using decimals. So let's make it a double. And let's go ahead and name it cost. And next we're going to do tax amount on the sandwich. So another double. And then we're going to do a boolean. So private boolean, and it says here for extra ingredients, so let's call it extra in. So we've completed these two. Next we're going to do the tax rate. To me that sounds like it's going to be a static and a final. Final because it's a constant tax rate and it's going to be a double. And to signify that's a final, we're going to put it in all caps. And it says here default the tax rate to 0.125. Next, we're gonna do the total order amount. So this is gonna be static, and what's a double? And we're gonna name it order totals. And we're gonna assign it to 0. Starts off at 0. We're gonna add to it later on. And then account of the orders. So private, static, and int order or count equals 0 as well. We're going to add to it later. And so we already did the default to 0.125. This should not be allowed to change. Default the boolean to false. So let's do that. And we have completed the 8 attributes here. So next, we completed this whole portion. Now we have 2 constructors. So how do we name constructors? We name them the class name. Now you learn to put public before this here, but this public is not necessary. It automatically defaults to public, and I don't like typing extra, so you can just use this. Now the first constructor, it says there are no parameters defined, so that means nothing goes inside the parentheses. So we can move on to the body, and it says you will need to do the following. Call the method 1 described below. It's talking about this method down here. So let's just say method 1 for now as a placeholder, and we completed this. And it says increment the order count by 1 to keep track of the orders. So we're going to do that by count equals count plus 1. We're just adding 1 to the count. And we completed this constructor. Next, we'll move on to the second constructor. So again, constructors are named just like the class name. And this one, it says it will receive a parameter of data type char. So parameter data type is char, and we'll just give it a variable name of a. And here is what this method is going to do. So we're going to assign the name to Elmer Fudd. So we're going to use this variable. So I like copying and pasting, that way I don't make mistakes. So we're going to call it Elmer Fudd. Next is to assign it to the sandwich ordered. So again, copy and paste. Whoops. In here. And it says to assign it to this. So let's go ahead and just copy and paste this as well. Make sure it's in double quotes. It's a string. Semicolon. So we completed these 2. Next, we're going to assign the cost. So we're going to find the cost, copy, paste, equals $6.99, semicolon. And next, we're going to assign true to the boolean of extra ingredients. Copy and paste, equals, and we're going to assign it to true. And next, we're going to calculate the tax amount by using the tax rate attribute above times the cost. Cool. So we're going to do tax equals, and it's going to be times the tax rate, which is this. So copy this. And he tells you here tax rate times the cost. So copy that, and there we go. Next, we're going to do the scratch this one off. Now we're going to calculate the total amount of orders being entered. So we're going to add up the totals pretty much. So we're going to use this order totals variable equals, and we're going to add everything up. So we're going to use this again. Order totals equals order totals plus the tax rate and the cost. Wait, not the tax rate, actually. We're going to do the tax and the cost. Oops, sorry about that. Trying to copy, paste. There we go. So here the order total is the tax plus the cost, and then we add it to this. And now the count. It says increment the total count, so we're just gonna copy and paste this line again. It's asking for the same thing, and there we go. So we completed the second constructor now. Now we're gonna move on to method 1. So this is where it's gonna start getting good. So this one is gonna prompt for these to, it's gonna prompt the user to enter these values. So let's call it public void, and since it's gonna be prompting the user, let's call it prompt order. And it doesn't say anything about any parameters, so we're good there. And since we named this prompt order, let's go ahead and change this to prompt order as well, because it's set up here that we're calling that method. So you got to make sure these method names match. And now let's go ahead and prompt the user. So here are what the output should look like. So it's asking us to prompt the user for the name and these things. So we're going to be using these dialog boxes. So that means we're going to have to import up here. So import java x dot swing dot star. That star just means we're importing everything. You can also just write in JOption pane instead of the star. Both work the same. So let's come back here. We're going to prompt for the customer name. So copy and paste again so we don't make mistakes. And we're going to use the JOption pane. And we're going to, since the user's inputting something, we're going to use the show input dialog. Null and whatever the message shows in here. So it says here, please enter the customer name. So in double quotes. Don't forget the semicolon. Next. Scratch this one off. What sandwich are they ordering? So we name that variable sandwich ordered. And then we can also just copy and paste this again. That way we're faster. We're just going to edit the string that's in here. So we're going to say what sandwich did Bill want to purchase? So now we don't want to hard code things, so I'm not going to put Bill inside of this string. I'm actually going to use the variable and put it here. That way it shows up. Whenever they enter it here, Bill will be saved, and then we can use it here. So now we continue. Want to purchase. We have our semicolon. So we completed this. Another thing I like to do is I like to compile and run while we're doing this. So see, we have an error here. Oh, we forgot the J. So see, that way we can avoid, mistakes later. So this error is fine. We don't have a main method, so we're good. No syntax error so far. And now we're going to move on to the cost. So right here, cost equals. Now they're going to be entering a number, so that means we're going to have to parse. And we're expecting a double, so we're going to use double dot parse double. These are easy points you guys should get. Make sure don't forget to parse. A lot of people tend to forget that. And if you guys want to make it easier on yourself, we can copy and paste this part into here and continue. And here we're going to do what is the cost for and we're going to use what they entered here. Semicolon. Now let's run it. Okay, we're good. We didn't make any errors on that line. So we completed that line. Next, do they want extra ingredients? So this line is going to be one of the trickier ones. So let's see if we can break it down for you guys. So we're going to be using this, and we want to see if the user wants extra ingredients or not, and we wanted to change this from false to true if they click yes, or leave it at false if no. So to do that, we're gonna say if what they enter in the J option pane, and we're gonna do dot yes option. That just means that they clicked yes, and this is the syntax for it. So J option pane dot yes option, and we're comparing. So how to compare? We're gonna use two equal signs. So one way I like to remember this is, like, for here we're assigning something, so we're going to say extra in is, and then whatever this is. And to compare, since we're using two, it's is equal to. So we're asking the question, is it equal to? So we're going to say, is this yes option equal to what they enter, or whether they click yes or no or cancel in this J option pane now. So we're going to do show confirm dialog now, because we want it to look like this one. So this one is a show confirm dialog, and go with null, and then we have to use this message here. So does, and now we're going to do the name, semicolon. So what this line is doing here, it's pretty much saying, does this equal what they enter here? So if they, once this runs and you get this pop up and they click yes, does yes equal yes? True or false? That would be true if they click yes. If they click no, then does yes equal no? That is false. So then this would change, this boolean would become false. So that's what this line is doing. And now we completed this part. Now we're going to calculate the tax amount using the tax rate. So pretty much it's going to be these same exact lines right up here is what it's looking like. So we can actually just copy and paste them. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like it's the same thing. So we can work smarter and just copy and paste this. And it's not asking us to increment the count, so that's why we didn't copy that one. So let's go ahead and mark that as complete and move on to method 2. So let's compile and see if we get any syntax errors. No. Good. Move on to method 2. So this method will change the values of the order. So it looks like we're going to be editing the order, I think. Yes, it's going to look like this one right here. We're changing. So let's go ahead and name this, let's do public void, and let's do edit order. I think that's a good name for it. And it doesn't say anything about any parameters, so we're going to leave this blank here. Now it says back out the cost and the tax amount. So subtract cost and tax amount from total amount. So let's go ahead and do that. Order totals equals order totals minus, and it says here to subtract cost and tax. So we're going to subtract the cost, and we're also going to subtract the tax. Semicolon. So that's what this first line is asking for. Next, it says display the prompt indicating that we need to change. So let's see what it looks like. Looks like this one. So this is a show message dialog. Let's go ahead and do that. J option pane dot show message dialog. And what does the message show? It says we are changing. So we're going to be using the customer name. Now it looks like he wants us to have a line here. So we're gonna add a line by using this escape sequence \n, and we're gonna start off with the new line. It says please re-enter the order info. Semicolon. Let's check if we've made any errors. No. So we completed this. Now it says call method 1 to recreate the values of this order. So method 1 is this one that we created here. So we called it prompt order. Copy and paste. Don't make mistakes. Semicolon. Good. Compile. No mistakes. Completed this line. Now methods 3 to 9, it says that these are get methods to return each of these attributes, and it gives you the attributes that we need those methods for. So let's go ahead and do that. Add a few lines. So it says here that we need one for customer name. It's a string. So public, what data type are we returning? We're returning a string, and it's going to be for customer name. So let's name it get customer name parentheses, and since the only thing in here is going to be return and the attribute you want to return, I'm just going to do it like this. That way it takes up less space on mine. It's the same thing as doing this. Do the same exact thing. I just do it like this to save space. Either way works, as long as the curly brackets are there. So we completed the customer name. Next, we're going to do the sandwich that they ordered. So again, it's going to be a string. So we can honestly just copy and paste this and just edit these things right here. So this one is going to be get sandwich ordered. And let's not make many mistakes, so we're going to copy and paste. Oh, another big thing is we need semicolons here. Okay. Next, we're going to do the cost of the sandwich. So public. This time the cost is double. We're returning a double, so here we're going to put double. We're going to call it get cost. And we're going to return the cost. Semicolon. Next, we're gonna do the ingredients, whether they want extra ingredients or not. So public, what type of data type is that? It's a boolean. And get, we named it extra in. Return, we're going to be returning this one, semicolon. So we completed this. Next, we're going to return the tax amount. So another one of these. Public, what data type is it? It's a double. Get tax. Return tax, semicolon, right? We named it tax, yep. Now, public, what's next? The total cost. So we named that variable order totals, and it's static. So public, and what data type? It's a static double. So let's go ahead and paste this here. And we're going to name it get order totals. Return order totals. Whoa. Okay, semicolon. Make sure we haven't made any mistakes. Nope. And the last one is going to be the count of the orders. So the count, it's a static int. So we're going to do public static int get count, and we're going to return the count, semicolon. So looks like we have completed this first class. Let's go ahead and compile. So we have not made any syntax errors. That's good. Now we can move on and open up a new tab. And this one, It says create a second class called this. So we're gonna copy and paste that. That way it'll mess up. Paste it in here. .java public class. Now for Mac users, you can use CL tab. So let me show you guys that again. So public and then CL and tab, and it fills this in for you. And these things, you want to delete them if you're doing that method. But yeah, it's a curly braces for you. And it says it has no attributes and it has 2 methods. Awesome. Method 1, it says hint main method. So we all know that. It's public static void main string args. Okay. And it will do this. So here we're going to create the objects now. So how do we create objects? We use the class name of the object of the class we're trying to create the object from. So we're trying to create an object of the sandwich bar class. So we're going to use it. Copy and paste is your friend. That way you don't misspell things. We're going to name this order 1 and new, and now we're going to call the constructor from this class. And parentheses, it says here we're going to use the sandwich class with no arguments, so we're not going to put anything in the parentheses, and finish it with a semicolon. So we completed this line. Next, it's going to create a second object using the sandwich bar class, passing an argument a. So we can copy and paste this to minimize our mistakes. Make sure we change the variable name to order 2. And this one does say we're going to be passing an argument, so let's just pass it the character a. Make sure it's in the single quotes. And looks like we completed this line as well. Next one we're going to do is create the third object of the sandwich class. So same thing again as the first line. And we're going to name this order 3 instead. No arguments, so leave it blank inside the parentheses. Scratch that one off. Now it says here change the values in the second object by calling the method 2 in the sandwich bar class. So it's talking about method 2 that we created up here that edits the order. So let's go and find it. Edit order, copy and paste. And we're going to add it up here. I like to separate these, that way it's easier to see. So it says here, and it says to do it for the second object. So this is the second object, so copy and paste order 2 up there. Order 2 dot edit order, and edit order does not have any parameters, so we leave this blank in here. And now this will edit the order for order 2. So we completed that line. Next, where it says call the second method in this class described below. So now it's talking about this method that we have not created. So let's call it method 2 for now. And it says here pass the first object as an argument. So we're going to paste this in here. So we completed this one. And then it says here call the second method. So do the same thing again, but for the second object. So we can copy and paste this and just change this from order 1 to order 2. So we completed this one. And now call the second method. Oh, do it again. So copy and paste, change this from order 1 to order 3. See, we're zooming through this. Doing good. So, okay, we're good on that. Now it says display the dialog box as shown below for the total number of orders. So let's go and find that. Talking about this one. It has the total number of orders and it wants the total sales here, and he wants the average as well. Okay, so what type of dialog box is this? It's a message, show message dialog. So what does that mean? We're going to be using a JOption pane, so we have to import. Did I put a comma? Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So JOption pane, and we're using a show message dialog. And let's see what the message is going to look like. So it's this one. So we're going to start off with today we had, and we don't want a hard code. So how are we going to get the count? We have a method over here that helps us do that called getCount. So we're going to use the sandwich bar class. So sandwich and dot, and the method we're going to be using. So that's where we're going to get the count. Next, it wants us to add a line, and well, actually it says today we had, then this is the count, and then here he wants orders. So I'm going to do this on a separate line so you guys can see this better. And plus to concatenate, we're going to add a line. So how do we do that? \n and start off here, totaling, and then the total. How do we get that? I believe we have a method. Yep, get order totals. So again, we're going to use the same format. So sandwich dot, and then the method we're going to be using. So copy and paste is your friend. Bam. So I'm going to add another line just so you guys can see better and start working on this one now. So concatenate, and we're going to do average. Oh, I forgot one thing. \n, he wants another line right here. Average order cost and including tax. Equal sign. And it looks like you want us to do a calculation, so I believe this is, so the average, how do we find the average? The total divided by the amount. So let's just check for sure using our calculator. And it says 25.5, and we're going to divide it by the total amount of orders, which is 3. 8.5. Yup, that's how we get that. So we're going to do that calculation in here now. Remember, we do calculations inside parentheses. So same format again. We're going to do the, we can actually just copy and paste from here. We're going to get the order total inside these parentheses, and we're going to divide by the count right here. And now we should be good. Semicolon at the end, very important. Let me just do this on a separate line, that way you guys can see better. So we're doing this calculation inside these parentheses. The order total is divided by the count to get this. So it's looking good to me. I think I misspelled orders over here. If that happens to you and you don't notice, I'm sure he won't take too many points off. Or I don't think he would take any points off, honestly. As long as everything in here is, this is what's important, everything. As long as everything in here, these variables and stuff are correct. So, looks like we're done, I think. Yeah, we're done with the main method. Now we're going to move on to this method 2. So, method 2, so we used it here in the main method, so we're going to call it from static context. That means we're going to make it public static void, and we named it method 2. So I'm a little lazy. Let's just name it method 2 here. And it says here it will receive a parameter of the object being passed for the class sandwich bar. So this is key right here. Make sure if your quiz says this, pay very close attention to this. So it says it's going to receive a parameter and it's going to be an object. So the object is from the sandwich bar class. Okay, so that's why we have this data type here from the object from the sandwich bar class. And this, we're just going to give it a variable name. So let's just name it name. I'm not too creative with my variable names. I'll just say name. So that's what this would look like. So we completed this part. Now it says display the dialog box showing the specifics of the order. So it's looking like it's going to be this one. So it's what type of dialog box is? It's a JOption pane .show message dialog. We're lazy, so we're going to copy and paste this part since we already did it up there. Null, and go ahead and start filling this in. So the customer dash concatenate, and it's here he wants Bill, he wants Eileen, Dave, depending on the order. So we have methods over here to get those. So we're going to use the get customer name method. And since we have name in this, what's it called? In this parameter, then we're going to use name dot get customer name. And that's how we would get the name. So this is very important here. Whatever you name this variable is what would go in here. So if I name this I would go in here. So we pay very close attention to that. We're going to go ahead and add a line that way you guys can see better. And here he wants us to do sandwich on a separate line. So how do we add lines? \n, and we're going to type out sandwich, not sandwich, sandwich, and we're going to come back here and find the correct method. So get sandwich ordered. Again, I dot get sandwich ordered. This is how we would do that one. And then next we would do the cost. So \n cost dash and we're going to get this. So another method we have here is get cost. I dot get cost. So this is a monster of a line, guys. So pay very close attention and take your time on this. So we completed this cost line. Now we're going to move on to the tax. So tax, and I forgot to add the line, so let's go ahead and do that. \n, and we have a method get tax. So I dot get tax, and now we need one for the extra ingredients. So \n, it's on a separate line, extra ingredients. And it's going to be I dot and then the extra ingredients method, get extra ingredients. Cool. So we completed this one. Now we want to get the total. So again, \n and then total. And looks like we're adding $8.99 plus the tax. That's the total. So we're gonna get the cost up here. So it'll be I.getCost, and we're gonna add the tax. So we're gonna use this right here, I.getTax, and remember, calculations must be inside parentheses. And then we close the J option pane parenthesis and finish it off with a semicolon. And looks like that's it. So now you will want to pray and hope that you have no errors and your code runs. Yay. Okay. It ran. Now we check for logic errors. So he has here what he wants you to enter. So we can test it using this. So here he wants us to enter Bill as the customer name. Next, what sandwich did Bill want to purchase? What sandwich did Bill want to purchase? Matches up so far. Wants to purchase pastrami. What does it cost for pastrami? Matches. It's $8.99. Now, does Bill want extra ingredients? We can come down here and it says extra ingredients is true, so we would put yes, he does. Now, the next one is Dave. What sandwich does Bill want to purchase? It's matching up. He wants a tuna salad. And what does it cost? It's $6.87. Okay. And does Dave want extra ingredients? Down here it says it's false, so we would have put no. Now we were changing the order for Elmer Fudd, which is this right here. So this matches up. Now we're gonna move on to Eileen. So it's matching up so far. It says Italian, right? Yep, Italian. And what is the cost for the Italian? $6.85. And does she want extra ingredients? It says here true, so we would put yes. And now here we check if it matches up. So the first one, Bill, pastrami, $8.99, 1.12. Yep, looks good so far. True. And 10 and 11 cents. Cool. So that one looks good. Next one, Eileen. It's $6.85, 85 cents. Yep, looks good to me. And the last one, false. Yep, everything looks good. And today we had 3 orders. Does that match up? Yep, everything is matching up. So that when that happens, and hopefully that does happen for you, you will copy and paste your code, and you would paste it in here where this is the answer key, so you can paste it in here. Tomorrow it'll be blank, obviously. And yeah, so don't worry if you guys, aren't able to get working code. If you still have errors and you're running out of time, go ahead and submit. He does give partial credit, and you guys will be good. So I hope this walkthrough of the quiz helps you guys, and I hope my tips about the quiz taking process also helps you guys. And good luck studying this weekend, and good luck on the quiz on Monday. I know you guys can do it. See you guys.